Order. Verify compliance with open meetings law notification and adoption of agenda. Next up, we have our consent agenda, which includes A, approval of May vouchers and vouchers payable, B, approval of April 27th, 2015 board meeting minutes and May 4th, 2015 special board meeting minutes, C, approval of health insurance, D, approval of sale of district tech equipment, E, approval of 2015-16 tech plan, F, approval of early graduation requests. All of these items have been, or most have been discussed at a previous meeting. So we do a consent agenda where with one vote, these are approved without discussion. But prior to that, would anyone care to pull some out for discussion?
B, just because there's a typo in the minutes, that's all, so.
Okay,
That's the
all right.
C?
And C, all right. Any others?
And E.
B, C, and E?
No, I got it.
Okay. Any others? Seeing none, then I would entertain approval of the consent agenda items A, D, and F.
So moved.
It's been moved.
Second.
And seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Next up, we will do the correction for B.
Okay, let me find it here real quick. Okay, so when listing the consent agenda on the bottom of the first page of the minutes, item E is what I had pulled, and on the top of the second page, or in the middle of the second page, it's just typoed as item D. And then, again, right under that, for the motion, it was typoed as item
Okay.
D. It's simple, but I didn't know how else to change it
No,
except.
you gotta get it correct, absolutely. Okay, so,
So it
I-
should be item E that was changed?
Yeah. Right here,
Oh,
item
yes.
E, and then here it's listed as D,
Okay.
and
got
then
it.
there it's listed as D again.
All
all
right.
right.
I thought I'd seen it sooner.
So then
I'm
I would
sorry.
entertain a motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
So moved.
Been moved
Second.
and seconded. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, approval of health insurance. Quinn?
Yes, Dr. Holtz, was all the staff that this policy affects notified of the policy?
Yeah, we sent out a memo to everybody in the district.
Okay. And I believe all the school board members received an email from Mr. Jaco. And are you here? Is that you? And I get your situation, and I wish more teachers would have, or more staff that this policy is in, that use this policy would contact us one way or the other. I personally just got yours, and I don't want to see something like this happen to any staff member. But we have to look at the whole, for the whole staff. And when only one member of the staff that this policy is for talks to us, I don't see it as a problem. I understand for you, it's a huge problem, and I see the financial hit you might take and to switch doctors from the care that you're getting now. But I feel that there are choices in this policy. I guess what it tells me is the policy is not affecting other members, because no one talked to us. I don't know. I mean, that's what I see. And while I want to give everybody that has this policy the best policy possible, when it is not communicated to us one way or the other than one person, I see no reason to hold it up.
Any other comments? I too want to echo that this is unfortunate for a few people, and
It's going to be hard.
it's going to be hard. I don't know that there's anything else that we can do. Dr. Holtz, do you have any suggestions?
Sorry, Scott, I didn't see your email.
Well-
So I don't know the exact situation.
Well, why don't we forward it to you and see if there is anything you can do? I think
I
we
would
have to
very
move
much
ahead
like
with
to
this,
See what I could do.
with this
with
plan
that.
tonight, and then we'll have Dr. Holtz look into any exceptions.
this kind of situation was our concern when we talked it over, but as Quinn said, you know, we were hoping that nobody would end up paying a big price. I mean, it was going to be kind of an increase for everybody, but we were hoping that nobody, well, potentially, we were hoping that nobody would end up paying a big price, but really, with the looming Cadillac tax type stuff that we need to avoid, or it cost us a bunch, and those kinds of things, we're kind of rock and hard place, I think, is where we had to do something. We, you know, I don't think that, we were hoping it wouldn't cause any, you know, big detriment to folks, but I just don't know how we can do better. I think if somewhere along the line we discover that we can make things easier on folks, we would. But there's a lot of research that went into it, and I don't know what else we can do.
Emily?
I hope we can find something too. I have a chronic condition myself. The idea of uprooting from my medical team that keeps me functioning and trying to find a new medical team to get to that level of care, that's a scary prospect, and it's hard. And reading your email, I put myself in those shoes thinking, yeah, I would be angry. I really would personally. What I hope, though, is I hope that somewhere in the network, working with BGS, working with Anthem, that somehow we can address this situation, and or if someone similar comes up, that there's some way to help.
Okay. Any other comments? Seeing none, then I would entertain a motion to approve the health insurance.
So moved.
It's been moved
Second?
and seconded. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And next up, we have approval of the tech plan. Who pulled that?
I did.
Okay.
Do we know what part the cost is? I know this isn't your whole budget, but do we know what this part of what the cost is? And is it increased from last year, this part?
It's actually down from last year. Doug, what did I send you earlier? 6.5%?
Yeah.
Down 6.5% on that, and that's been out for a while, and because Doug's asking us to reduce budgets for next year. In terms of the overall budget, I don't have the exact percentage. A number off the top of my head would be it's about 75% of the tech budget, but if you want, that's something I can email to all of you and give you an exact number by comparing the two. So it's the majority of it is within the tech plan.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Kevin?
I know we discussed it last meeting, just with specifics on the tech plan, and we talked about specifically with iPads and Macs and such. I'd like for the future, not saying we have to move on something, you know, now as far as that, but I'd like to have periodic comparisons so we know as far as price-wise and as far as what other districts maybe are using and how that's assisting the students at the next level. I'd like to see what impact it is, one versus the other. And then same thing with, I know we discussed the projectors as well, and that just what the trend is. I know you're giving the ones that need repair, you're speaking with the staff and determining which one do you want. I guess just to see what the trend is as far as what teachers are leaning to.
One thing for me, a while back, and I don't remember how far back, I asked for a comparison between, as best you can, because it's like you say right here, it's hard to predict pricing, but and that also includes purchase cost, not just resale value. But we talked about the every 3-year replacement thing, and I understand you're trying to not have to replace all of them all at once, so you're trying to phase it in.
Yep.
So you wanted to do like a 2, 3, 4-year replacement. I wanted about a 3, 4, 5-year replacement, and a best guess cost estimate of that. I never did see that. So I see here 120 iPads at $110 estimated each, and I realize that's estimated. So that's estimated a little over $13,000 resale value. You know, the idea, my question is, how much would we see that going down if we held on to stuff another year? Because if it just went down by a few thousand, it might be worth keeping everything for 3, 4, 5 years versus 2, 3, 4 years to get our cycle started. So I haven't seen a cost estimate on that.
That was replied to in a mass email to the board, because you'd asked that
Yes.
a number of meetings ago.
Yes.
I can't take it out exactly when it came out, but it was there, maybe not framed, maybe not the exact answer you were looking for, but it was, what I thought you were asking was put into a mass email to the board back after the January Finance Committee, because that's, I think, when you asked that question.
Possibly, yeah, sounds about right.
It would have been probably about 2 weeks after that.
Okay.
When that came out. I tried to dig it up for you and pull it back out to you. send it back
Okay.
out to you.
Well,
That'd
I
be
can
great.
try and look it up again too, but yeah, because I'd still like to know about replacing starting at 3 years versus starting at
Now, are
2.
you talking about iPads or computers?
Well, I mean, I really don't think that we should be, my recollection is, I mean, based on, as you say yourself, a 3-year life expectancy, and I know with that, you're not necessarily talking about how long stuff lasts, but how long stuff has any value and when breakdowns might start to occur, and also it's keeping up with current technology.
Right. Some of it has
So,
to do though with the functioning
Right.
of the equipment.
Mhm,
And there's
right.
some equipment we aren't getting rid of on a 3-year cycle.
Mhm.
So we get rid of some equipment on a 5-year cycle already.
and I see that here when you talk about the
Desktop.
iPad 2s, for example, some of them were purchased summer of 2011.
Yeah.
And the 2009 Apple iMacs, 5-year life expectancy. 2010, there was Apple MacBooks, 3-year life expectancy, and now you're talking about 2015, maybe reselling those. So I can see how you're pushing that. And
We're
I think,
trying to stretch.
and I think that's good. I appreciate that. I just wonder if maybe we shouldn't be doing that with our iPad, with starting our iPad replacement cycle as well.
Right.
So I would ask that we can maybe look at that and decide whether we give you a pre-approval tonight or not, if you could take a good look at
Sure.
if we need to get rid of that, start that cycle now, or can we wait till next year on those minis? That's what I would just
Okay.
ask you to consider.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm confused.
That-
What's the
yeah.
mini? We're not, Stephanie, what's
No,
your
I was
question?
That's a different discussion. That was
Different,
already
right.
passed.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
already passed. But I think the email, Eric, and I just pulled it up, that was the return on investment memo that you
believe
sent
so,
out,
yeah.
right? So, John, you're looking for an email from February 12th that Eric sent. That's the one you're looking for, that addressed that portion of it.
Glad you can pull it up much quicker than I
I
can.
know.
Well,
See what technology can do for you?
She could pull it up while I was talking, so.
Right? I was sending
Well, in
him-
any case,
If
it
that
wouldn't
didn't
be,
answer all of your question, just, you know,
Okay.
I freeze it out to
So-
me and I can get you other numbers.
but you're saying the resale thing I was bringing up is not on the agenda
The
tonight?
resale, we already
We already
passed. That
approved
was
that.
the sales district tech equipment that was
Right.
item D, so that's already been.
That's been
passed.
approved. I thought you were
Okay,
talking
Oh,
about,
I see what I'm off, okay, yeah.
So-
you're
So,
we're on E,
all right. Okay,
approval of the district plan,
Okay,
which we've pretty much said move forward, but we have questions.
yeah. So all that stuff I said, yeah, it's still relevant, but maybe not the
So
right time
Give
and
me a
Please.
spreadsheet with cost estimates
Yeah.
moving out forward.
So, and then as far as what Kevin said, I agree with, as we said last meeting, trying to, 2 meetings ago, trying to keep our eyes on what's out there and not be sure we don't have tunnel vision.
I appreciate the good work you've done. There's a lot to the tech plan, and we could spend hours going into details on this, but overall, I think we got to move it forward. So, any other questions? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion then to approve the District 2015-16 tech plan.
So moved.
Been moved
So,
and seconded. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. All right, next up, we have a discussion and defining of the Whitnall Middle School and Whitnall High School School Board liaison roles. Rather than just assign them, I just wondered, I think the elementary ones, it's pretty clear that there's PTO meetings and you tend to, someone attends those and just sort of listens and is there to answer questions for the board, correct?
That's what I do, yeah.
Okay, so that's listen and answer questions. What do we want the liaison to do? And what we can do is get your ideas tonight, and then it could be vetted back through the policy committee. I think we could add it into our policy on, do we have a policy on liaisons? I think we do. So then we could vet it through there as to have a little more clarity on what we would like the middle school person and the high school one to do, because there aren't really parent groups. However, the high school person did meet with,
I would, yeah, I
how does
would,
it go?
well, I would say that in the case of the high school, the Booster Club.
The Booster
is
Club,
one of
correct.
the main,
Okay,
one of the main conduits and parent groups, if you will.
right,
Where Jackie has, Jackie's not here, but I believe she has evenings that she has like an open door discussion for parents around a certain topic. That would be something else that the liaison could do,
Okay.
if that'll coordinate with their schedule.
All right.
There are places where parents congregate and discuss things with the high school, that administration, that plugging into some of those would be a suggestion. On the middle school, I know from time to time, Lynn, you've had principal coffees. Again, some sort of communication around those would be a possible one. There is a middle school PTO.
There's not.
Okay.
We kind of disbanded it a few years ago because it was two parents, Quinn and Cheryl Baker, who were there, and.
Too strong.
Yeah, his daughter, I think she's graduating soon, or junior. So we started looking at it differently and how we can bring parents in to volunteer, and we have parents kind of let us know what they're able to do. Mike uses a lot of parent volunteers for all of our dances. If there's a specific need we have, we put things out to the parents for volunteers. I encourage the teachers to look for ways that parents can assist with different things, with sporting events, and we try and get parents involved as much as possible. Quinn has come to a few of the coffees this year, and it has been helpful. Parents have had questions, and he's been able to answer them or ask questions.
Does the parents go into the juniors?
Right, we have JA volunteers, so we just look for ways to get the parents into the building, because the PTO wasn't the venue. And, I even went to the elementary PTO meetings and tried to encourage parents to stay on board. And I think they just think, they come to middle school and my kid doesn't want me there. And I'm just very good at that, that's not the case. But, it's been working
Okay.
so far.
So there are some events at both the middle school and the high school that a board liaison could just simply attend as it fits into their schedule and answer questions and listens. Is that an appropriate role for?
Mhm. Yep.
And I would also think in
Right.
some cases, at least when I was doing my liaison work for any of the schools, I also kind of considered myself a little bit of their advocate in a way.
I wondered that.
So that if they had a special production coming up like The Lion King, that would be one of the announcements that a board member their liaison would make to highlight that particular school. Now, that would take a little communication and coordination with Dr. Holtz's approval, that maybe a designee at each building would email the board member and let them know what was coming up for the events. That's another thought of how we could do that. It depends upon what you want the liaison to do. Is it just merely communication? Is it advocacy? Is it?
Well, let's put those on the table in terms of advocacy and communication. And then that could go back through the policy committee, give everybody a chance to think about that. I like all of those ideas. I think it'd be great if each building had a board member that really reports the events at board meetings when possible.
It's another avenue of communication.
Of communication, right.
I think that some of how Edgerton's parking lot came to the fore, wasn't it, Quinn? That you were.
Well, if you are involved, these issues are going to come to you.
Right.
And then you bring them here, And then we, as a group, make the decision,
Right.
But yeah, I think advocacy definitely is part of it, there's no doubt.
You would have to clarify what issues, because we still want to follow chain of command on most issues. So the parking lot thing would have gone through Matt first before, contact your administrators first.
Oh,
You know
it
what I
was,
mean?
it actually went to finance and facility.
Right, and but your role would be to direct parents on how to do that and to give people heads up that it's coming.
I don't think we want to get into that, because
Well, that's suggesting they follow the chain of command.
I agree.
not do it. Did I say that wrong?
No, it was, and the ball got dropped and something needed to be picked up and taken in, that's all.
Okay, well, let's put those ideas out. Did you capture that little list I came up? Advocacy, communication, and those things might include announcement of events, certainly listening and answering questions, and attending events at the school when possible, both parent and other events at the school when possible, right? Maybe other events as well. All right, let's start with that list, and then we'll pull that into our policy and take a look at that.
Sure.
Next time. And for now, at least I can assign someone and we can figure out those details then next time. All right.
did volunteer for either the middle school or the high school.
I think I
Those are
did
the
get
ones
that, yep.
open, so
I'll go back and check that and get, I think I had 2 volunteers, so we have enough
I'd be
people.
happy to take either building.
Yeah, did you say one too? Okay. Which one did you say? Didn't matter?
I prefer the high school.
The high
Either way,
school.
I like either
And
one.
I'm happy to take the
Okay.
middle school as long as Lynn lets me in the door still.
All right.
Right.
The high school used to have a parent organization. I don't know if they
Are
still
on the
do or not.
boosters?
Mhm.
Was that
Beside
the
those-
That's how the
They
whole
used to.
field
The-
things got
the
started.
parent advisory
Yeah.
board? Is that what you're thinking of? 'Cause that's kind of what I thought, that Jackie had a
Okay.
meeting with them.
I don't know if it was a parent advisory board. It was just a parent organization.
Okay.
So
It
I don't know,
was,
you'd
I
have to
remember
ask
that, and
Jackie.
I think it worked.
It was, just to refresh your memory, it was just parent forum.
Yeah, parent
That's
forum.
what I'm
That's
thinking
what it was.
So he had
Okay.
started just to.
Right, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Lori? Did you- Okay, Lori?
Other wrestlers, John has been calling John.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
I think we reassigned now on that one.
Yeah.
So we would just add,
Well, I was middle school. If Stephanie's going to do it, I take HCE unless,
I think we assigned HCE and Edgerton already.
okay.
It's just the middle school and the high school. And we can put 2 reps down, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Do you guys both want to share
I can
responsibilities?
certainly take the middle school, that's not a problem.
The middle school?
Sure.
Okay, and then he's taking the high school and you're taking a break? You could take middle school too, then, John?
Yeah.
We'd have 2 for the middle school.
Okay, so Stephanie and John, in the middle school, Jonathan Cable's got Hills Corners Elementary, Kevin's got the high school, and Quinn, you've got Edgerton?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Are we good? All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, next up, we have comments from the school board regarding agenda items for future consideration. Does anyone have any future agenda items?
Would be nice to recognize the middle school for their
Yeah,
recent performance.
could they come in? Can we get the middle school for sure? Okay, that'd be great. All right, next we have board member announcements. Any announcements? I want to mention that, I totally forgot, and I apologize, to mention Teacher Appreciation Week last week. I certainly want to send a message out to all of our teachers how much we appreciate what they do from the board, and a week is really not enough. You know, you serve our kids every day, and you change their lives every day, and you create their hope for the future every day. So I want to extend my on behalf of the board, our thanks to all the teachers in this district for all that you do. And it's not an easy time right now, so thank you for all the changes you're willing to try, and we appreciate you. That's it. Any other announcements,
Do you
Kathy?
want to mention that the staff retirement recognition event is coming up on May 27th, Wednesday, and of course, all the board members are invited, as well
Okay.
as the staff.
That's right. Again, to appreciate our long-term staffers and staffing people and retirees, that would be great.
That's not on a calendar. I did email, you know what I'll do?
Email us that
I'll
again.
email the board members a reminder with a copy of the invitation,
Okay.
because it's actually this year being held at the Muskego Urban Gathering Place
Right.
in Janesville. And Maddie's is doing the catering. We had some staff requests to do it off-site, and we decided to try and do that this year for something different. So
All right.
they have quite the list of people being recognized.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Then I would entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.851C to discuss a superintendent evaluation.
So moved.
Been
Second.
moved and seconded. We have to do a roll call vote. Stephanie?
Aye.
Kevin? Aye. Nancy?
Aye.
Luann? Aye. Quinn?
All right.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right.